My role is not really to because the establishment is there. It's only the perfection. I mean, try to sort of improve here and there in terms of the subject curriculum. That kind of thing that I'm doing. See, so I cannot claim that I'm involved in the establishment of KAED in that sense in a proper way. Only I did it distant because of when Prof. Mawi came. So he got a kind of help from UTM in the sense of our curriculum that we have over there, some modification and try to suit what we have here. I see. So in architecture, he was get from President Professor Tajuddin Rasdi. That's now UCSI now, and of course in planning, the Kulliyyah at that times. Appoint me as academic advisor, so that we managed to have a kind of discussion on the aspects. And in landscape also, to some extent, Professor Mawi also, because he involved himself as a landscape. I mean, he did his master's and PhD in landscape. Architecture, of course, he has people like Datin Novina. From Asia, from the industry came in. To Noina from JKR and from Asia from industry, from her own firm. And then these are people who really are core of the KAED at that time, I think. And of course QS, Prof. Khairuddin.
I still remember during that time we need to go to IKEA to buy a dining table to become our meeting room. Okay, to design or to come out with our new program. Okay, writing up a course outline without any experience, but guided by these few seniors lecturers, we drafted our first versions of our course outline. So during that time, there is no format, MQA format or whatever. So, but we have a template that we need to follow through. Alhamdulillah. We come out with a program, okay, that we be able to come out with our first batch student. So this is very interesting situation where we, as a young people during that time, okay, having advice, instruction from the seniors, will be able to draft our course outline. And we'll be able to establish our program. On top of academic program, we also helping the Kulliyyah and the universities to establish our buildings, okay, to draft the schedule of accommodation for the building, what we are required, and so on and so forth.
I say that majority of our lecturers they are young lecturers. When they do teaching, also very limited kind of subject they take because of they are preparing themselves to go for the postgraduate. So of course they are two steps, and then they have to do masters and then after the PhD. So this is a kind of time that in the early establishment in the early 2000 something. And
during the establishment, we are actually challenging ourselves because we have no background at all. Okay, in terms of academic, in terms of drafting the curriculum, in terms of drafting the course outline and so on and so on. And furthermore, KAED are actually having a very unique philosophy, which is the Tawhidic approach, in which we are actually come from a secular background. Okay, our first degree, our second degree are actually come, because during that time there is no Islamic universities that actually teaching built environment. So our background, all our background during that time, okay, as being a young lecturers, being a new in the academic, and furthermore, we are required to draft a curriculum, a course outline that is based on the Islamic Tawhidic approach. So this is actually a very challenging situation to all of us. And Alhamdulillah, we'll be able to draft in such a way that is actually in line with the philosophy of the university, which is Islamization of knowledge and the detailed part of the Tawhidic approach of built environment. Some
memory that I will, would like to share with you how hard, when I said, mentioned just now about the accreditation process. So it's not a kind of, an easy kind of way of, for some program. The established program may be, quite, as I said, say URP, landscape, of course, quite, because of they don't have a kind of professional, but, no problem for them. But QS also, you see, QS was the, also a kind of, quite structured in such way, see, to, get a, But the architecture is, is a kind of like a headache when I was the dean in the early days. But of course, we didn't get through for the first attempt, There are so many, kind of, hindrance in the sense of not our capability, but, it's not really tested in the market yet, you see, our student. As a dean, normally, though you are, your backgrounds are planning, but, of course, as a dean, you see, people will, the parents come to the deans, not come to the departments at that time, and even not only the parents, but, of course, the parent as well as is our professional outside, you see. They always, when meet, we used to kind of, meeting and then see that, they will say that, I heard that, your architecture program is not recognized yet by LAM. That is kind of, you have to face, with the public, Of course, at our level best here, and at the same time, this also you have to, be very, very, very careful and, very kind of friendly, you have to really, let them come and, so PR, public relations with, with the industry, with the friend outside, so, and you cannot work within yourself. You cannot work with yourself because this is very, very important because you are a professional. So alhamdulillah, after, after we all this in our board of director, board of studies and then they understand that. So though they are critical, but of course, finally they agree and they approve.
I put myself, okay, as academicians, as a lecturers, okay. So because we are so passionate about our task as academicians, that's why I think we are actually giving our full commitments, okay, to our teaching and learning, to our research, and so on and so forth. So when you see your graduates are actually very successful outside, okay, not only in terms of the academic that related to their professions, but also in terms of their behavior, in terms of their culture, in terms of the good value that they are actually bringing to the industry, to their workplace. That is actually a very successful story for us, okay, as a Murabi, because we be able to inculcate the good values that we are actually created here, and it be able to bring outside, and is further being developed and flourish outside.
We always maintain that we have to be a role model of a Muslim professional. This is the right from very beginning that when the establishment of KAED. The idea of IUM is as a role model or of the ummah, a model of a person.
So we believe that KAED is supposed to be an institution, okay, that is talking about rahmatan lil alamin, which is actually in line with the university theme, okay, garden of knowledge and virtue, that is actually looking into humanizing educations and rahmatan lil alamin. So I believe that the good values that we are inculcate to our students, to our alumni, okay, it can be able to become a universal values, okay, universal values in built environment, because we see that so many issues in built environment outside there, and I believe that our alumni is really understand, really put themselves into this philosophy of Tawhidic approach in education and Islamization of knowledge. they be able to understand the current situation successfully and they be able to resolve. So that's why I believe that in the future, okay, we need to further strengthen our academic program so that our graduates be able to get the values through their training here in KAED, and they, when they become an alumni, they be able to become agent of change. Because I believe that all these good values are universal values that everybody must share together with us, and we successfully create this world as rahmatan lil alamin.